Okay, so we're moving right along. We now have arrived to the next section, the accumulator pattern. The key word here is pattern. You're going to be introduced to quite a few patterns over your career. And one of the things as a software developer, our job is to recognize patterns. But also our job is to know what the result is before we actually write the code. And in this section, we're going to talk about that. But first, if you are new to this channel and you are not a part of the cohort, this curriculum is free. You're welcome to click the link in the description and follow along with the curriculum. Okay, so now let's get into the curriculum. Okay. All right, so the accelerator pattern. A pattern is a commonly used approach to solve a group of similar programming problems. This section introduces your first pattern, which we will explore in depth after looking at a motivating example, adding in one in. So 1 up to. Let's write a program that adds up the integers 1 in, where n is an integer variable that we will create. If you were to do this with pen and paper, you will write out a single formula and compute the answer. For example, for n assigned to 6, you will write, or equal to in this case. And so here, what are we really saying here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? But we're adding them together. So as you can see here, to get the result, you will first add 1 and 2 to get 3. Then you will add 3 and 3 to get 6. Then you will add 6 and 4 to get 10, and so on. The final result is 21. We can carry out this same procedure in code using a for loop. Now, as you can see right here, yes, it's written out in a for loop and it's giving you an output. But unless you already understand how this works, you need to see the breakdown. Well, first, let's understand we are doing what? We're initializing a variable and assigning the number 6 to it. And then we're creating another variable, total, and we're initializing at 0. This right here tells me that this is going to be a variable that I am going to store information in or store numbers in, because I'm initializing it with a 0. So I want it to be a number. I want the data type to be a number. And then I have this for loop. This is why it's so important not to memorize just the syntax, but to understand what it does. I am doing what? I'm establishing, initializing a variable I, which is an index, but I'm initializing it at 1 instead of 0. And then I'm going through the conditional if I is less than equal to n. Now, remember early when we were trying to print out the numbers from 0 to 51, and we said let I be less than 51, and if that's true, it keeps iterating. Well, it iterates all the way up to the number 50, and then it stops because it reaches false. But yet it stopped at 50 and not 51, because it has to make sense. 51 is not less than 51, it's equal to 51. So in order to print 51, we would have had to do this. We would have had to go less than equal to whatever n. Give me everything, even whatever the last number, up to and including the last item or the last number. In this case, this is a number. And then we do what? We go ahead and we are accumulating it. Now, this syntax right here is a compound accumulator pattern. So we're using the compound plus symbol here with the plus equal. And we learned about this in chapter 4 when we talked about operators. Now, it gives you the output of 21, but we notice there's a lot of stuff that happened in between. So if I go over here, let's right click and let's inspect this. A couple of things I want to point out to you to help you understand this even better. If I go down here to the console, right click on the console. I'm hoping you guys can see this pretty good. So I'm going to copy that to my clipboard and I'm going to paste it in. So now if I go ahead and run it, it gives me what we expect, 21, because of the output here. But how does this actually work? So this is technically how it works. This is shorthand right here, this plus equal. All you have to do is, if you want to see what it actually does, if I come here and then this is all it means right here, total plus 1. Or plus I. So whatever is being stored in I is going to add it to the total. So now when I run it, I get the same results. So all this plus equal is just written this way. This is how you do the longhand, how you write this. Just like when we were talking about I++. If I wanted to just increment more than 1, if I want to increment to 2, I have to go I equals I plus 2. That's how you're able to increment by 2. This is just the shorthand or the short version of how to get to increment. Now, one of the things that I want you to do is I want you to learn how to use your console.log. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this right here because I type slow. And then I'm going to, on my keyboard, I'm on the Windows on this particular one. It's going to be Shift Enter. I think it's the same thing with a Mac, Shift Enter. And then I'm going to paste in that console.log. Now what I want to do is I'm going to do this. I want a console.log, but first, before I do that, it's something that I wanted you to see first. Let me back a little bit. I'm going to do it here first. I'm up arrow. I'm gonna come down here, and then I'm going to be Shift Enter, and then I'm going to paste in that console.log. This time I'm going to do I. Now, we haven't taught you this yet. I just want to introduce it to you. What the result is going to be if I hit enter. When I hit enter, I'm going to get a reference error. What kind of error is this? This is a reference error. I'm not going to answer for you because I want you to answer it. If you know the answer, put the answer inside of the comment. But the reason why I'm getting this error is because I is not defined. Why? It's defined up here. Problem is, it's out of scope. It's only to this particular scope of the for loop. And we haven't got into scoping yet, but I just want to show you that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out right here, come back up here, then I'm going to do Shift Enter, Control V to shortcut it, and then I am going to paste it here. So I'm going to bring the console.log inside the for loop because I want to see what's going on with this for loop. So I hit enter and it's telling me, oh, it's undefined, but yet it's giving me 6 over here. What does that mean? 6. It's iterated over 6 times, but I don't have the result that I'm looking for, right? So what I want to see is I want to see the breakdown of this particular code. So what this loop is doing. So I'm going to put this in again, and I'm going to do what? Now I'm going to run it. I'm just going to console log that total inside of the for loop. And there you go. It gives me a little bit more information. So what it does, what is this undefined right here? It's meaning that it's looping over that total of I, which is in total, and it's saying that, okay, we did the loop and now we're doing what we asked. The 1 plus 2 is 3. But I can go a little bit further than that. I can get a little bit more information. I'm gonna arrow up again, and this time I'm going to do Shift Enter and do copy. I'm gonna paste that in, but this time I just want to know what I is. What is I going to print? So I'm gonna hit enter. There we go. So now I'm getting that 1, starting off at 1 because that's what it is initialized at. With an undefined, then there's 1, then it goes to the 2. And so if that's true, then it turns into the 1 plus 2. So now it's adding the 1 plus 2. It gives me the 3. Then it's 3 plus 3 gives me the 6. 6 plus 4 gives me 10. 10 plus 5 gives me 15. 6 plus 15 gives me 21. I just wanted to put those console logs in so you can get a better understanding of what is going on with this particular code. Now, Yes, now this video has gone a little long, so I'm gonna have to do a two-part to this one little section. And I just want so you can see it, because if you can see it, then it makes more sense. Okay, so I'm gonna end the video here, and we're gonna pick this up, finish this up in the next video. So remember, the more you do, the more you improve. See you at the conclusion of this particular section.